Let me introduce the head table to you and kind of tell you how this thing is going to go. On my far left is Dr. Jenny Vale, who is our chairman of the commission for this year. And sitting next to her is Eric Schwab, who is the assistant administrator for fisheries for the Department of Commerce. And he's going to be giving some comments to us after the Charles H. Lyles Award ceremony. On my right here is Albert King. He's our honoree today, and we're going to have a lot to say about you, Albert. Next to him is Claire King, his wife, and next to her is Harold King, his son. Two business associates, one from Louisiana and one from North Carolina, have come to be with Albert in this special time, Cliff Alphin and Tommy Bush. Tommy Bush on the far right. So with that, this is the way we're going to run this thing, Albert. And you can't run it, so you just got to. I'm going to make a few comments, and then we're going to have a formal presentation, and you're going to come back and you're going to sit down. I know it's hard for you to do. You're going to come back and sit down and not say anything. And then we're going to open it up to the floor for comments about Albert and reflections and memories and so forth. And then when all that's done, Eric will give us our address. Jenny Vale usually, or as chairman, generally many times does this, but I asked her if I could do it, and she complied. So I'm glad to do this. It's a special time, and it's something that is richly deserved by Albert. As you know, the commission family knows that this is given once a year to try to, in some way, honor an individual who's made tremendous contributions over their career. Albert L. King Sr. is our honoree today. How in the world do you honor a man for his body of work over his career in just a few short minutes? But this is the impossible task that we find ourselves in to honor Albert King. This award is given for the year 2010. It was established after Charles H. Lyles, Charlie Lyles, namesake, my mentor, guy who hired me. We can't do justice to the many contributions to the marine resources of the Gulf of Mexico that Albert has done, but we can at least humbly thank him for all he's done. This award is our only yearly expression of the Commission's praise that we can give. It's not enough to fully honor this man for his life contributions to our commonly shared endeavors, but Albert, I want you to know it's sincerely given as our small attempt to do so. Albert has always been involved in marine fisheries. His father raised him and his brothers in the shrimp fishery. I couldn't, when I was trying to pick out some things, and Harold did a wonderful job of giving his bio, I got to look at it and I said, what can I do here to summarize this? And I said, I don't need to summarize it, so we had it printed. I want you to, when you have time, to go back and look at that. The program is just a little short summary, and it indicates the people who have received it in the past and a little bit about Albert's life on the inside. So, you know, his father raised him and his brothers in fisheries, specifically the shrimp fishery to begin with. You know, and there's a saying that experience is a great teacher of life. So that being said, Albert has a postdoctorate in fisheries. He was vertically integrated, as some may say. Never has the old saying, he has forgotten more than most of us will ever know, been more apropos for Albert. Just consider some of the things in his resume. A deckhand, shrimp boat owner, net maker, manager of a seafood company, establishment of frozen foods, seafood division, while he worked extensively with other, where he worked extensively with other seafood companies, owner of a shrimp brokerage company, full line processing with national and international distribution, numerous fishery boards and commissions, including, but not limited to, Vice Chairman of the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. It's appropriate that one of the pictures inside the program is Albert and Ted Shepard shaking hands, a past Charles H. Lyles Award recipient and our current recipient. Albert taught me to play knock rummy. He shared many rounds of golf and numerous meals, too many to even remember. But most importantly, he taught me integrity, and he taught me honesty, and hard work are not traits that have disappeared from our society. Albert has worked in the industry for over 50 years and believes that the key to the future of seafood is the protection of rivers, and streams, and bays, marshes, and estuaries. Our best efforts is to just simply say to you, Albert, thank you for all that you contributed to the marine resources over your career. Please give a round of applause to Albert, our 2010 Charles H. Lyles Award recipient. Albert, I need you to follow me over there for just a minute and then come back and sit down. Gulf States Marine Fisheries Commission Charles H. Lyles Award, October 19, 2010. Let me just say a little bit about this. After Katrina, there were many trees that were killed and damaged, and a local sculptor in Mississippi has taken it on himself, and he's carved images out in the median on Highway 90 of a lot of these, out of a lot of these old trees and things, you know, fish and birds and all kinds of things. If you drive through there, you'll see them today. This is that same artist. It's a piece of cedar wood that was salvaged after Katrina, and this is our award to you. Now, don't worry, you're not going to have to carry this back on the plane. We'll bring it back to you and get it delivered, but this is our small token of this appreciation to you.
Well, I just want to tell you how much this will be appreciated all of my life. And you know, just seeing all the people here that I've known and things is a very big honor to see you all here.
Let's go back and sit down because you're going to have time to do that. If there was such a thing as somebody else getting the last word. Before that, I'd like to open the floor for comments from friends and co-workers. No. Not me and you, anyway. Who's going to be first?
I'm not really sure what I'm going to say, but let me start out by saying when I was first introduced to Clara, I put my hand in my pocket and I think I gave her $5 a pop. And she looked at me like, what is this? I said, that's for earplugs. his knowledge of fisheries, from being on the water, being in the process, and it's amazing. And one regret that I have for all of you younger people in this room is that y'all have not been able to spend the time with someone like this who's actually lived through all this stuff. And just the knowledge, the stories, it's just unbelievable. Albert, Philip, and I, Larry, and a lot of Gulf Council, we were the full wise men. The only reason we were wise because of Albert's brain. The rest of us were kind of bringing it down. But he was knowledgeable about so many things. He was asked to speak, some big soiree at Texas A&M University. So he and I decided we're going to ride together. We're going to drive. So, I don't know how many hours it was, but we took these back roads through Texas, and Texas is a fair-sized state, and there were junk tea places, and we passed by, that's a such and such and such. I said, I got tired of hearing all that stuff. Finally, we passed one. That's a 1929 Bible. I said, Albert, you are so full. I am tired here. Oh, be God, we go into this place.
It was a hubcap, wasn't it?
It was a hubcap. And you ask, what is that? It's a 1920. And he did it repeatedly in the bookshop. And I was thinking, how the hell did he know all this kind of stuff? But he did. And I guess, like I said, I could tell stories. I'm going to just tell one more. Albert was a fair golfer. I never played golf in my life. I started playing. I put a team together, played one time, won the Gulf States Award. And I carried Albert, Philip.
You carried Albert?
Then I won the trophy and I quit. Secondly, he was a fair knock rummy player. And I couldn't beat him. And he would make me so darn mad. But I found out how to beat him. Make him mad. Make him mad. He gets his mind's not on the game.
You did that very well.
One night I made him so mad I thought I'd gone too far. He picked up a car and he picked up two by mistake. And he did that. So I told him he was cheap. Dale Blood did this. Lee Davidson was in the room that night, if I remember right. I thought he was going to come across the table, but I beat him that night. Albert, seriously, I just regret that I'm not able to spend more time with you to continue to get some of that knowledge that you've got up in that head of yours, even though it's a hard head. But truly, you're the kind of guy that deserves something like this. You've certainly earned it. And I wish you could have brought better company than damn cattle burrito.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
Mr. Albert, from John Ray Nelson in Bon Secour, Alabama, my father, I told him where I was going this week, and he's one of the people on this list, so he always asks me to tell him that he's selected a new one. You know, last year I had a hard time explaining to him about that recipient. He had a hard time swallowing that one, but he felt so much better when I told him he would be giving it to this year, so he said he sends his congratulations and apologies for not being able to be here. But it's been one of my great honors to say that I know you, and I've also spent time with you in an automobile. A couple of times we went to Atlanta. I don't know if you remember those trips. I know you traveled a lot, but I sure enjoyed those trips, and I remember how badly my cheeks hurt on the time I got back from laughing and grinning so much at all the stories you told me. And I have to say, you're the person that taught me how to eat fast food on the road, because of all those years you'd spent driving a seafood truck. We were on our way back from Atlanta, and for some reason, we were in a hurry. We had to stop at a McDonald's. And I started trying to eat French fries and drive the car at the same time. You said, whoa, wait a minute now. You get both those hands on the wheel, and Albert fed me those French fries. I don't know if that was a comment on my driving. He said, this is the way we used to do it, son. Whenever we drove trucks. So I've told that story many times whenever we're driving down the road anywhere and somebody's eating French fries. It really is great to see you get this award, Mr. Albert. It couldn't go to anyone more deserving, and it really warms my heart as a member of the commercial seafood industry to see it go to someone who is literally, as Larry said, had a vertically integrated life all the way up through using practically every kind of gear available to harvest seafood, and then start one of the largest shrimp companies on the coast, Carson and King, now Carson and Company. So congratulations. It's great to see you and your son Harold and these folks that have assembled to honor you, and you very much deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken.
Get here with my Ken Roberts, and I want to say thanks to the commission and Larry for selecting Albert this year. Albert's a great teacher. He may not look at himself that way, but I learned a great deal personally. I know the people that I've been dealing with over the years have benefited from my association with you, Albert. The way I look at it is there are a lot of public servants, but there are very few people who offer public service. I think there's a distinction, and I think that's why you're being recognized today, because public service is uncompensated. You take a lot of bullets. You don't get journal articles printed for being a public servant and going to a meeting or listing it on your resume and benefiting indirectly. When you're a public service-oriented person, you do it from the heart, and you've had a long history of it. And I appreciate my association with you from that standpoint, that you were a great educator. I learned a couple of interesting things. I don't have any comedy. I'm an economist. I'm dry, you know. But this perspective I have on my interaction with Albert, in addition to the fact that I know now there's a difference between public service and public servants. When you were on the council, I found a real dichotomy that you were putting along with people from, quote, industry. And it's hard to find people to do public service on the council with this much experience. My perspective on things, the way you served, was that there are lots of models, years of data, all deductive reasoning. If you go from the general to the specific in the fishery, people in Albert King's experience, like they said, he was vertically integrated from mending nets to brokering shrimp and running business. They reason inductively, basically. They have specific knowledge of many, many aspects of the business and the questions. And it sometimes conflicts with the deductive reasoning of models and data where you go to a specific answer from those models. It's an inevitable clash, in my opinion. People shouldn't take it personally. But this man had such a great ability to reason inductively from his experience, and he's impacted a lot of people, both as a teacher and just as a friend. And I'm asking that when you come up after he has to say, don't just congratulate him for the award. Thank him for the public service, because there's a distinction there. Thank you, Albert, you and Clara. One other thing in closing, Larry. Last time I visited you and Clara, you had the objective of reading all the Bibles of all the books of the Bible. And I thought at that time, you are not a prodigal son. Albert King has always been there in terms of public service, in terms of interaction with some of his friends in the room. So, thank you, Albert. Thank you, Clara.
Thank you. Next. Anyone else? Go ahead, Tom.
By the way, my name's Tommy Bush, and I had the great pleasure that most of you folks have to know Albert. I had an opportunity to live with him. When he first came to work for Schumann Shepherd Company, he came, started in at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. He was still living in Gulf Shores those days. He lived with me till Friday, then he'd go home for the weekend. So you think you people have had an opportunity to listen to Albert. You get up in the morning with that going. You ride to work, which is about an hour, going. You work with him, and then you find out how much you don't know. And then we go to the athletic club in the afternoon, and after work, and of course, when you're on a treadmill or something like that, you can always turn that noise up, you know, but then you got to ride home. And then we cooked a lot in those days, and I'll get to that story afterwards. But anyway, my oldest daughter got married, and I wanted to take her and her husband, son-in-law, to Gulf Shores for a weekend. And I got to thinking, I said, well, he likes to play golf. I'm no golfer, so I said, I got to find something for him to do. So I said, Dadgummit, Albert's over there. Not only does he live there, he belongs to a country club, and I know I could twist his arm and get him to do something for me. So I called him up, and I said, Albert, I got my son-in-law, and I want to impress him and all. And I said, I want to take him over there to Gulf Shores, and we're going to spend the weekend over there. Could you get a golf game up for him? Oh, I'd love to. Be there at 7 o'clock. So I said, well, you know, Albert, you'll be there, because, you know, he don't wait on anybody, nobody waits on him. And so anyway, I come up there, and the little coffee shop that was there was full of people and all. And I looked and see all these golf courses lined up. And they're on one of these little driveways like, and on both sides of the driveway is flowers. Nice flower bed, beautiful. So I come in there and said, Todd, this is Albert King. He's an excellent golfer and all. Maybe you can learn something for him. Fine, sit down and have some coffee. So we sit down. About time I hit to see the thing. He said, let's go. And I said, well, you don't want any coffee? No, we're going to go and he's going to take a few warm-up shots. So he takes my son-in-law over there, and he says, now you get a couple of balls here and you can warm up. Well, he turns around and looks, and all these folks are coming out of the coffee shop and getting in these buckets, these golf carts. So I'm sitting there, I said, well, I'll just wait till we get off. And all of a sudden, here comes Albert, my son-in-law, in the golf court, right to the flower bed. Gets in front and gets on the first tee or whatever you call that. And he's sitting down there, and all these folks are pulling up there, and this guy goes up and he says, sir, what is your tee time? And Albert says, Todd, go ahead and hit your ball and all. And he said, but sir, what is your tee time? He turns around and looks at him, and he says, right goddamn. My son-in-law did, they still are together. So, God Almighty, I'll put him through something. But anyway, another little short story, and I'll sit down. Albert and I, like I said, cooked at night when we came in. Albert says, Tommy, have you ever had red gravy? I said, no. And he said, well, I'm going to fix something tonight. So before he gets home, and we get to the house and all, I just got a little TV. And so I go in there, and I'm sitting down there, and makes me a drink. I sit down there, and I'm watching TV, and I was in the kitchen. So we had a long day, and this was about Thursday, and he wasn't going home till the next day. So he kept on and on and on and on. So I walked in the kitchen, and I said, Albert, come here. I said, you see that? You know what that is? He said, yeah, that's a TV. I said, you see this button right here? You know what that is? He said, yeah. He said, there's an on and off switch. I said, yeah. Where's yours? Well, I've never heard anything. The reason I talk is because I know so much. He goes back in the kitchen, he's cooking, he's stirring in that pot. Now, if he cooked, I cleaned up. So he's stirring that pot in there, and so he comes in there and he says, go on in there and get your things. Things are ready. Well, I walk in the kitchen, and that red gravy is you know, you lower, you cook it, that stuff spatters everywhere. I mean, there was more red gravy on the ceiling and on around the kitchen than there were in the pot. So needless to say, I didn't show him the on and off switch. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Time for maybe one short one. Go ahead. Cliff?
I couldn't have come out here without speaking about Albert. I heard that this presentation was going to be today, and I knew for sure I'd get here one way or the other. I'm going to be a little more serious than Tommy, and I'm going to try not to take up too much time, or otherwise y'all will feel like I learned too much from Albert. But I want to tell you that there are people that come into your life that you get to know, and they come, they pass. But there are a rare number of people that come into your life that make a difference in your life, and they change your life. And I'm going to tell you, Albert King changed my life. I'm the most unlikely person in the world to be in the shrimp business. I came from a tobacco farm in eastern North Carolina, and had gotten into med school, thought that's where I was going to go. And there's a long story as to how I got here, but a lot of it is because of this man right here. I happened to be at the Louisiana Shrimp Association party, and I bumped into a man. He starts talking to me, and of course, all I can do is listen. But different than a lot of other people have said here, I listened well. And I will tell you, I learned a lot from this man. And there's very little of it that was not good. Now, of course, we could hold that for another time, and Tommy had told you I could tell you more stories that you want to listen to. But one of the things, I guess he gave me a call about 3 or 4 weeks later, and he decided to start Carson and King. And he asked, could he fly out to North Carolina? He came up to see my father and me. By the way, my father's 90 years old. His mind's sharp as a tack. And he said to be sure and tell Albert that you were one of the finest gentlemen, one of the most honest people that we've ever done business with. And I don't think you could have said any more than that. But Albert told us when he came up there, he said, this is a different type of business than you've ever done. It's going to mean that you're going to wire transfer money for product before you've ever seen it. Well, I just met this man at a party, and as you can imagine, in eastern North Carolina, we don't trust folks from the north and some from the south. But he convinced us that it could change the way we did business for the better. And we decided to do it. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is, this man has never told me anything when he said to me, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do this. That's the way it went. He's as honest a man as that ever come into my life. I would trust him virtually with anything. My father was an incredibly wise man. But sometimes you want to talk to somebody besides your dad. I talked to Albert King. I talked to him about my family. I talked to him about business situations. Now, I will tell y'all, he had an opinion. He had an answer. But it was always positive and had a positive impact on my life, Albert. And I'm going to tell you one last thing about him. To demonstrate the kind of man he is from a different side than y'all see. When he was packing shrimp for me, we decided we would pack some Devane shrimp. And it was the first experiment for him packing it. It was the first experiment for us to get it. Well, when the shrimp came up, we got right much of it. We've been selling some of it. And suddenly I weighed some one day, and they were a little bit short weight. Well, they were short because once you Devane product. Obviously, it bleeds more, and this is pretty much the infancy of the time that was being done. And I called and told Albert about that, which he was alarmed. Never asked for anything. We just wanted to let him know so we could probably try to get that corrected. One day Albert calls, says he's coming up to North Carolina. And I just thought he's coming to see me. He walks in the door and he said, "This is how many pounds of shrimp we've been packing today for you, and this is how much I figure I owe you for the shortage." He gave me a check. Now, I didn't ask for a check, but that's the kind of integrity this man has. Corky, I rode that whole Gulf the same as you did, and I listened the whole way. I learned a lot, but I want to tell you one thing. The man's got a bladder as big as a 5-gallon.
Albert, you get the last word.
Is that the rebuttal?
You can sit there if you like. You want to-
Well, you know, it's just an honor to see all of these people and people that I have known for so long. And, you know, to hear them to sell some lies. And then we have to put up with it because when I'm being polite now. Because if I would really tell them what I really thought, well, that might not be some of the things that you all would want to hear. But, you know, they're the greatest bunch of people that you could ever be associated with. And I just want to tell you that I just feel that I am a very wise person to recognize with what they are, because they're just the greatest bunch of friends and things that you would want to see. And the one thing that I would really appreciate is everyone having the same feeling that I have about all of the people that I've been associated with in business, friends and things like that. Because, you know, it's just a great life. Now, I'll be 74 years old my next birthday. And the thing about it is, you'll acquire a lot by associating with the people that you do, where your friends and your business associates. Well, I just want to tell all of you that I was fortunate to have the greatest bunch of associates and people that I did business with and friends that I made. And to me, that's the greatest thing that I can tell any of you, because you are the ones that made me what I am. And now there's certain things that I need to rebuttal. Now Bush, when he talks about that bread and gravy and everything that was in it, he didn't tell you that I cleaned most of it up. He didn't tell you all of the other things about anybody that had to live with him for 5 days a week, because that would be another story. And then where Cliff will tell you about things that I had to do, I used to have to go to, he wanted to stop and use the bathroom about every 20 miles. And I'd say, no, Cliff, I said, I'm sorry, we're gonna get gas, you're gonna get some more. He'd say, and he would say, please stop. Nope, I said, when we get a tank of gas, we're gonna stop. And, you know, it's the things that you have to share with these people, and sometimes you have to be a little stern with them. But, you know, I was never too stern with them. But now I could ask you all to bear with my son. He's lived with me more years than I want to remember. But anyway, I don't really know what to say about him. Because he looks up right there like he's innocent. And I can tell you, my precious wife that has to put up with me, and also with what he tells her about me. Sometimes it's really difficult, but I tell you, I wouldn't trade anything about it for my life, my friends, and everything. And I thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you. We appreciate all you've done.